that's the best way to do videos for live. So there we are. Be interested to know what you think. Is vertical better than horizontal? Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Andrew Knowles, part of the Regency History team, and I'm using these videos, daily videos, just to share my thoughts on my own journey into learning more about history from the late Georgian and the Regency period. And you're welcome to come along with me on that journey. And it's always great to know who you are. So if you want to leave a comment, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. Just say who you are, where you're from, or if you've got any other observations on what I'm saying, that'd be brilliant. Today is the 1st of August 2024, and it is 250 years since the first Virginia Convention in the USA. Now, I'm looking at Regency history, late Georgian history and Regency history, particularly in Britain. And obviously 250 years ago, or maybe not so obviously to you, but certainly thinking about the dates, 250 years ago, then Virginia was a US colony. It was still part of the British Empire. It was governed by King George III. It had its own local governor. And 250 years ago today was the first Virginia Convention. And the first Virginia Convention was a meeting of a group of burgesses. Now, what are burgesses? Well, burgesses were the people who were elected by the local population to help make local laws. So the burgesses were elected to make the laws locally in Virginia. And these burgesses met in the House of Burgesses. Now, this was in, as I said, 250 years ago, which was 1774. And the previous autumn, in 1773, or previous winter, there was the Boston Tea Party, which was this whole thing about Bostonians, or a group of them, tipping tea into the harbour of Boston as part of their complaint against the British. This is a long-running issue, much more than just about tax. It's much more about how the Americans felt that they had no representation really in Parliament. Certainly in British Parliament, the Americans had no representation. There was nobody sitting in the British Parliament, the British government, who was there to represent the people of America. And there were by now quite a lot of people in the 13 colonies in America. Anyway, so you had the whole Boston Tea Party thing. And there have been various other goings on. I'm still learning about this. It's not something I paid much attention to until recently. And then I realised there's a whole run of 250th anniversaries coming up. I mean, 1776, the Declaration of Independence. Well, that's the anniversary for that is just a couple of years away. So I'm starting to track the events that were happening in the American colonies 250 years ago. And recently I discovered all about the Fairfax resolves, which were a number of statements. There's information about that on the website now, the regencyhistory.net website. There's the Fairfax resolves, which were written by George Washington and others. And these were a list of complaints, a list of statements, a list of things saying, we want to be part of the British Empire. They said that in there. They said, we want to be under King George III, but we do feel we're being treated badly. We're not being represented. And if nothing changes, we're going to start taking some action here, particularly action in the terms of trade. So that was the Fairfax resolves, and that was in July 1774. And then a couple of weeks later, there was this meeting, the first Virginia Convention, which happened in a pub or in a tavern, the Raleigh Tavern. At some point I'll blog about this. And the Virginia Convention was where the burgesses, as I said, the people who were elected, came together to start making some, to put together a series of statements about what they were going to do, how Virginia was going to react to the fact that the British were being a little bit heavy-handed and not allowing the Americans, the sort of things that they wanted in terms of representation. And by the way, if you're watching this and you've got a view on it, if you're an American, it'd be fantastic. But it's really great to know how much you know about this already. See, I don't know much about it right now. I'm learning as I go, and that's the whole point of these videos, to share what I'm learning as I go. So the House of Burgesses, I said, they met in a tavern. Now, there was a separate building, the House of Burgesses, which was where they officially would meet. But the governor, who was appointed by the British, the governor had closed the House of Burgesses just a little while before because he was unhappy that the Burgesses were supporting Boston and were showing support for Boston and Massachusetts. Because following the Boston Tea Party, the British government had sort of laid extra restrictions on and were requiring yet more, I think, in the way of taxes and that sort of thing from Boston. So the governor was not very happy about this. He shut down the House of Burgesses and he said, I'm not going to have you guys making statements in favour of Massachusetts and Boston. So what happened then was that they took themselves off to a pub, said the Raleigh Tavern, and that's where they met. And that meeting, the First Virginia Convention, 1774, happened over the next little while, several days, and they came out with a series of statements basically saying, we're in support of Boston, we're in support of Massachusetts. If nothing changes, we're going to stop trading with Britain, we're going to stop importing things from Britain. And it's just starting to push up the pressure on the British around the fact they weren't treating the Americans very well. George Washington was part of this convention. So George Washington he helped to write the Fairfax Resolves. He was present at the First Virginia Convention. And this is part of George Washington's journey to becoming, well, you probably know what George Washington became. He became the first president of the United States. So what I'm hopefully doing over the next couple of years, and indeed longer, because then you've got the whole War of Independence following that, we'll be tracking the events of the American Revolution, the American War of Independence, as the 250th anniversaries come along. And that's part of the broader Regency history picture that I'm learning more about and I'm sharing more about. So there we are. That's today's thought here on my Regency History Live. It's just a little bit about the fact that today, 1st of August, 2024, is the 250th anniversary of the First Virginia Convention in the USA, and part of that journey, America's journey towards independence. So thank you for watching. There's a couple of people watching live right now. That's great. Thank you very much. I'm doing these videos daily. Then they're on the website. They're on the YouTube, which you can watch. It'd be great if you get any comments or any thoughts. That'd be great to hear from you. I'm Andrew Knowles, part of the Regency History team. I run Regency History with my wife, Rachel. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another thought about my journey into learning more about late Georgian and Regency world. Have a great day wherever you are, and thank you for watching.